Thank you so much for downloading the episode on the show today. We have a huge announcement. We are so famous, you guys. Also, in Paula's world, we discuss her issues with underwear, and I give her some advice for her 7th grader who is struggling in school. Paula devastates me with her television binge watching and your HUglee and awkward moments of the week. Thank you so much. Support us on lipandclip.com. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
It's been 6 years, dude. A girl needs to get laid.
Paula?
Thank God I don't have any friends.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the Ugly Truth.
Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 314. Ugh! Ugh!
We are sisters who podcast.
Yes, we are. So we are recording this a little late in the week for us, which is, I think it's kind of cool because it probably feels a little more timely if you listen to it right when we drop it.
Right.
I don't know how many people do that, but anyway, Paula, you need to share with our listeners the exciting news you received yesterday. Please share with us what you sent me.
So I want to say at least like a year or two ago. It was a long time. It had to have been almost 2 years ago.
I think it was almost 2 years ago.
We had submitted a photo of us girls as little children to that Awkward Family Photo website.
Yes, awkwardfamilyphotos.com.
Yeah, so you may see them on Facebook or you might see them directly on the website. And it's usually people doing like, ugly people doing terrible things or, getting Olin Mills pictures done. And so...
Yes, the old school. I saw one because I actually follow them on Facebook, so I see their posts pretty regularly. And they posted one of a family who was doing the traditional Olin Mills photo with the brown background and the soft lighting with grandma and aunts and uncles and grandchildren. And literally nobody had a decent face. There was blinking. Someone was crying. There was anger. And he's like, my family, this is the real deal. This is us.
God. So... They contacted me and they said, well, we liked the picture that you submitted and we want to know if we could use it possibly in the future for one of our calendars. And I'm like, no shit. I'm like, really? This is legit. And so she's like, I need to draw papers for everyone in the picture. So I gave everybody's contact information. They contacted everybody. We all signed waivers.
Yes.
That was that. Well, we never heard anything ever again. Mm-mm. And so I'm like, well, that's bizarre. Oh, well, maybe we didn't get picked or something. And the picture is us 4 girls. We're staring at the camera and we all just have blank stares on our faces.
We look like the children of the corn.
We look like abused children, which
we were.
It's funny that you mentioned because we were. But
yes, we look terrified. Our eyes are dead. You can see our souls have died.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, you can't act that. That's legit.
No one was cracking a smile in the least. We're just staring at the camera like, we should enjoy this until we get home.
Come play with us.
So yesterday, I get a package in the mail from Hammock or Schlemmer or whatever these people were called.
Yes.
Came to our old apartment, which is, we haven't lived there for like a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Our maintenance guy still works there. And so he got the package and he called us because he's friends with Victor, of course.
Of course.
He's like, hey, you guys got a package over here. And so Victor went over there and got the package and he opened it and he's just like, he's like, what's Awkward Family Photos?
And you're like, shut
up! I was like freaking out. I'm like, well, look and see what pages we are. And he's like, well, it's a daily calendar. So he had to flip through every page until he found us, and we're on October 7th.
So October 7th, 2019 is our page.
Exactly.
I am going to buy like 100 of those. You can buy them on Amazon. You can get them at Barnes & Noble. You can get them at Target. I Googled it. Awkward Family Photos, the daily calendar, they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Wow. I didn't realize it was so widespread.
Just like your mama. Yes. So we are famous.
We are.
So funny. Well,
We've got to get one to Mom.
Immediately. I already have one in my Amazon cart, but I think I'm going to add a couple more. Okay, so what's funny is that the whole reason that you even submitted the photo was they were doing a call for sibling pictures.
Yeah, it was on Sisters.
Yes. Now there is a good picture, and I don't know who probably our dad has it, but there's a picture of me swinging around in a circle with a book bag. Because back in the old days, we didn't have backpacks; we used book bags, and it was a canvas book bag. Mm-hmm. And I was swinging it around, waiting to go to school in the morning, and the timing was so perfect that there's a picture of me smacking you in the face with my book bag.
But it was like, it just looked like the tip had just started to hit me. Yes. And then someone took the picture.
Yes.
So
that would have been a great submission. But this one had all four of us. It is your typical portrait of the early 80s when children were to be seen and not heard. You know, no smiling. You just stare at this bright light far away and let us take the photo with a brown background. It is classic. And I actually have to tell you, was surprised that they wanted it.
I know, right?
I didn't think it was that awkward. But I think
maybe we do have a dead look on our faces or in our eyes.
Yeah, that must be it. Because, you know, look, our childhood was rough, but we photographed well. And that's all.
We had no choice. No, I'm just kidding.
They're like, you better do exactly as they say, or you know what's coming. No, we weren't.
We'll stand here all day and take pictures. I don't care.
Yes, that's true. I've got all day. Yes, so we are in the Awkward Family Photos 2019 calendar. Definitely not your Dallas Cowboy cheerleader calendar, but it's a start. I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. I just had producer Dub run out to the mailbox to make sure, because I haven't checked the mail in like 2 days. So he said no calendar. I'm like, God damn it. So
I wonder why I got mine so fast.
You're the original submitter, is my guess.
Yeah, I was the original contact.
Yes.
So,
but I do remember signing all the release forms and all of that stuff, and I was so relieved that Allison, our sister, actually did it.
Finally. It just only took her like 20 days.
Yeah, it took her a long time, but luckily she did it, and look, it's paid off in spades. So we will absolutely have a link to Amazon through the Ugly Truth website, so you may purchase a copy so that you can just enjoy our fame with us. We're literally going to be the Kardashians of Awkward Family Photos.
God,
I think it's fun. I love it.
I think it's great.
We were sitting around. Natalie, producer Dub, or Daryl's daughter, she got married and she comes back a couple times a year to visit. And so she was here for the weekend. And so we took her up to Apple Hill, which is up here in the foothills of Northern California. She loves it. We've been taking the kids there since they were tiny. So we were sitting at a little winery up there. We were just talking and, you know, having a great time. And all of a sudden I get a text message and I'm like, what? I didn't recognize any of the phone numbers because I message with you guys so often. I'd forget that we never text. And so I got this weird group text. I'm like, what is this? And then I see the picture. And I was like, oh my God. It's hilarious. I love
October
it.
7th.
October 7th, 2019, because we're scared.
That's going to be funny.
I can't wait. It's so exciting. But I was telling them, I said, you know, it's really weird. I go, I have karma where no matter where I go, even if it's a concert or anything like that, I get the front row. I find front row parking no matter the situation. Malia, now that she's driving, her karma is she always hits green lights. Always.
Wow.
She rarely has to do a stop at a busy street. She's got the green light. That's her karma. And my sister, or Aunt Bobby, as we call you, I said, Aunt Bobby has the fame karma. And they're like, what does that mean? I go, she has been interviewed and been on TV more than anyone I know for the most random things, too. It's not like,
Ever since I was little.
Ever since you were little, I go, they gravitate toward you. You get mics shoved in your face all the time. I go, one time she even ran on a movie set in LA on accident and ran right into Nicolas Cage. I'm like, this is who she is. She's going to accidentally win an Oscar one day. I'm telling you.
Probably for my performance in an action movie.
Yes. It will be customer 1 sitting in the cafe. She'll be like, you guys, I'm going to be a seat filler at the Oscars, and then you're going to be sitting next to. I got to sit next to Glenn Close. Isn't that crazy? That'll be you.
She's so nice.
Yeah, she's really nice, you guys. She smells so good. That'll be you.
God,
that is your karma, man. And so this, and I said, and this proves it. If I had submitted it, we never would have gotten in the calendar. Never. Paula only is the only one.
That's funny,
and it's true. It's so true. Anyway, well, congratulations to us. Thank you for submitting, and it actually worked.
Yeah, I'm so shocked, but
I am too.
I guess it pays to be awkward.
Finally. Anyway, let's talk about what?
Go ahead.
What? What's so funny?
Nothing. I was just looking at the outline and it made me laugh.
Why?
Just because it did. Go ahead.
Well, tell me what made you laugh.
Underwear.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would like to know what that means. We're going to go into Paula's world a little bit.
Okay, so I noticed recently, and I don't know if this happens to you. Well, you wear thongs, but...
I do, except when I'm on my period, I don't, but yeah.
Okay, so I bought a bunch of underwear last year, and I bought all larges because I assumed since I was feeling so fat and I looked fat that my lower half was equally as fat, but it's not.
No.
So I have a lot of underwear that are really big, and then I don't know what happens because when I buy my underwear and they're all new and everything, it seems that I get my period in every single pair.
Yes.
And so now I have a bunch of underwear that just looks gross and I don't want to wear them.
Of course.
And then I was realizing that I have a drawer full of underwear and I don't know that I've ever thrown away a pair of underwear.
Oh, really?
Do you throw away your underwear?
Yes, I do. I do.
I have underwear in there from my 20s.
No. Oh, God. I told you about that story about the woman who saved a pair of underwear that she had bought like 20 years ago. And she's like, oh, these are sexy. And she puts them on and they literally disintegrated on her body and turned into an oil slick on the toilet seat at work.
Oh, my God. That's right.
They were so old. And I'm just like, why would you even? I mean, first of all, cheap underwear is not worth it. Okay. If you want to go cheap, buy the all white cotton and it's fine. I mean, they're not very cute, but there are some guys who like that look. But overall, first of all, I only wear cotton now. I will not wear any kind of cheap like polyester or anything like that.
No, that's a good way to get a yeast infection.
Yeast infection, rash, it insulates poorly. You need breathable things down there. So,
Well, I was at Victoria's Secret's website and it seems like all they have is that cotton pink brand. And I'm just like,
No.
I don't want to get this crap. I'm not in college.
Okay, first of all, yes, they're along the Victoria's Secret, along the top, there are 3 tabs. Pink, Victoria's Secret, and Victoria Sports. The sports is all their workout wear. Their pink is where all the girls that are a size 0 go. And then their regular Victoria's Secret line. Victoria's Secret regular line, they have a gajillion options for underwear.
But I mean, am I going to pay $20 for a pair of underwear?
No, it's the same. It's 5 for $25. It's the same exact thing. So I can buy 3 pairs of period underwear and then I can buy 2 thongs and it's all $25.
I mean, even
whatever.
my period underwear are starting to gross me out.
Dude, I have stuff and I was... because Daryl could literally care less, but of course he's the only other adult here, so he gets to get the stories. But I'll pull out a pair of because I wear like the boy boxers when I'm on my period, and I'll pull them out. I'm like, look at these things. I go, do you know that Malia was 8 years old when I bought these? He's like, why are you telling me this? I'm like, I don't know, but why do I still have these? He's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, listen, I have to throw away Daryl's underwear. I have to throw them away. He has pairs of white jockey underwear that I thought I got rid of all of them, and they still come cropping up in the laundry. And I'm like, where are these coming from? I swear to God, I've tried to throw away the white Fruit of the Looms for like 5 years, and they still show up. They like reproduce somewhere in the garbage and end up back in my house. And yet I won't do the same for me with the period underwear. I think it's because I just don't feel like I should invest in underwear that's just going to get ruined.
Well, that's the problem with me is, there's initial starting your period, which you just do. And, God forbid you were wearing ugly underwear that day, but you're probably not. And
no, you're wearing your cute red ones.
So you're ruining that pair of underwear. And then, after you think you're done, and so you start putting on regular underwear again, and then you get that last gush,
Ugh, I hate it.
So irritating.
I hate it.
So
annoying.
I
know.
I don't know.
F you, hormones!
My body hates me. So
you know what? Women can't win. I mean, we just can't win. And by the way, first of all, Daryl doesn't care about my underwear. Like whatever, he's not one of those guys where he's like, well, I really would prefer it. He has no opinion at all. So they're all for me mostly. And I'll go through and I'll pick and choose things. I mean, I did buy a pair of San Francisco Giants underwear once.
Oh,
that he thought were really cute. But, other than that, whatever.
Yeah. Well, you know how some guys are.
No, I know. Some guys are really, I don't like the lingerie guy. I don't like the guy who insists on lingerie.
I've never really, not that I'm aware of. I guess there's just no, in my book, there's just no time for that,
I mean, I know that Daryl wouldn't turn it away, be like, what are you wearing that for? I mean, he wouldn't say that.
Right.
He'd be like, oh, sexy. Get it off immediately. I mean, that's the problem.
Maybe I would know if I was with lingerie guy. Do you think?
Well, I can tell you that I went through a phase early in my lover period when I was, when I had a lover or two and there was someone who literally I had to wear a different thing every time. And it was expensive and it was tiresome. And now, unfortunately for Daryl, I have an aversion. And he's like, you never buy any lingerie anymore. I'm like, I'm not ever going to buy lingerie again. He goes, why not? I go, look, I told you about lingerie guy. I don't want to get into it. He's like, fuck that guy. I'm your husband. I'm like, yeah, well, he ruined it for you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not doing it. I mean, I have some and I've done it, but it's very rare. I really hate it.
I just don't see the point.
I don't either. And it ends up on the floor and you're like, I just spent $85 on that. It is silk. Do you have any idea? Put that on.
I don't know. I guess I would hope if that's their thing, they would let me know.
Or they could buy it for me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's subtle or they just say, hey, I like lingerie.
Actually, one time, there was a time period where Daryl was like trying to encourage it. This was way long ago, like early on when he's like, let's keep it spicy or whatever. And he bought me lingerie a couple of times. And because men in love tend to not see the flaws that women know we have. Did
he buy you the wrong size?
Oh, yeah. And I said, look, I appreciate your positivity, but this isn't going to fit. He goes, well, how do you even know? I'm like, because I know my body and I know how big my boobs are. And I can tell you right now, this is not going to go well. And he's like, well, you could try it. I'm like, all right. So I tried it and I'm like, I look like Jim Carrey when he was pretending to be that bodybuilder.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Jim Carrey on In Living Color, he played a female bodybuilder who wore a bikini top and he put ponytails in his hair.
I remember now.
Yeah. I'm like, that's what I look like.
Oh my God.
I'm like, it covers the nips and that is all. Well, I think it looks sexy. I'm like, God, like, this is ridiculous.
Have at it.
I feel like a big fat hog. I'm taking it off. Okay? You're not a big fat hog. You're sexy. Ugh.
God.
So, me and my body issues.
I just turned the lights off.
Oh, God. That's my look. Blindness.
Right.
That's how I like it.
Eventually, I'll just make them wear a mask.
It's like, no, I like it like this. We're gonna play 50 Shades of Grey. Put this on.
Except I'm not going to tie your hands.
No. You wear the mat. No, you wear the blindfold. Please.
Then eventually we both wear the blindfold.
And then next thing you know, I'm downstairs eating pie, and you're up here going, hello? What is this? Are you here? Where'd you go? God. Okay, give me a quick recap on grades. Is everyone failing? Is that why we're talking about this?
Okay, so Ryan currently has like 2 C's, a B, an A, and a D minus.
Is this in the class where he hates the teacher?
No, it's in his science class.
Oh, the hippie?
Yes.
The hippie teacher with the braid? Why?
Apparently, he's not turning in assignments or
God damn it.
whatever it might be.
Children.
So he's on restriction.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
He's had his phone and electronics taken away.
Yep.
And he's just, I'm so frustrated because at night when we tell him to do his homework, it literally takes him 3 hours. And that's because he'll get up, he'll get a snack, or he'll stop and watch TV for like 2 minutes. And
Okay, well, let me give you a suggestion, especially since he's grounded. Just because he's grounded doesn't mean that the only thing that should change is his lack of electronics. First of all, kids at that age love being in their room. Whether they have a phone and video game system or not, they like being in their room. They like their solitude. So this is what we did, and it actually worked. It didn't work for all of them, but I had 4, and out of the 4, we had good results overall. When they have a bad grade, like a D or an F even, which is way, way worse, but when you have a D and you're just barely making it, it's a pain in the ass for you, by the way. Which is good because it keeps you mad at them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You start to remember why why they're grounded because you're being inconvenienced. But the rule is you come home, you get to pee, you get to eat a snack, and then we're all sitting at the counter doing our homework until it's done. Period. And it usually starts around 3:30 or 4. We did it at 4 o'clock. Everybody had to sit in the front room, and I mean the temper tantrums, the anger, the frustration, and then what's worse is when the little one gets done first because they're only in like 3rd grade. They're like, Mom, I'm done. I'm like, all right, you may go. And then the other ones who are older, they're just like, fucking... They're so angry. And, the one that's failing, they're always the last one to be done. And it's like, hey, I have an idea. Why don't you actually be responsible and do your stuff? And then we don't have to have this interaction daily because trust you me, you're just as infuriating. And this is why you're here. Don't forget it. It's this or you don't go to high school. Your choice. But
right.
This is where we are. And usually it works. And it's like, you can make your teenage years super fun by just doing your responsibilities, or you can make it really difficult for the next 6 years. The choice is yours. And by the way, the older you get, the more fun you can have. So just saying, you want girls to call you, you want your phone, you want to go to dances, you want to go to field trips.
Yeah.
Keep it in mind. And I mean, you have to throw it all at them, and you have to be really mean about it.
I know.
And you're not good at that.
I'm learning though. I get frustrated, and so then I'm just like, go do your homework.
Yeah. What you need to do though is, I swear to God, it works. It's like, no, you're doing your homework in front of me tonight. Sit at the bar. We're doing it together because you don't get the privilege of being in your room by yourself.
No, I make them do their homework at the table.
Good.
So they have to sit there and do that.
Yeah.
But, or if Olivia has to read 15 minutes, she'll set a timer and, read or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But,
and, the TV can't be on. That's why it's like, I just want you to know that you're literally ruining my life because you're not being responsible.
yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah. I mean, not say it like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're inconveniencing the household because you will not just simply do your homework. And it's not even hard. That's the problem. This is very typical of middle school. And actually what's nice is by 8th grade, like I'd say pretty early in the 8th grade year, especially for him because he's on the older ages, he will become normal again. And he'll get his homework done because he's got a lot he's going to want to do. He's going to be in sports of some kind or clubs or, whether it's student government or drama or whatever, he will be required to maintain a 2.0, need no D's or F's. And if it matters to him, This is the year where he will establish that he can do it, and he can do it. He's so smart. He's just not organized yet. And and Paula, my God, you're like the organized queen.
I know.
Give him some tips. You got him the planner and just say, okay, this is how I used to do it in school. Cause I got straight A's in high school or in junior high. And this is why, and give him the tips, tell him how you did it.
I know. It was so funny. We were in the garage the other day, Victor and I, and we were going through some boxes because he was looking for something.
Yeah.
And it was a box of my school stuff. Oh. And so he says, Principal's Honor Roll, Paula Campos. And so there were some other things like that, getting a 4.0 and blah, 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 blah.
I wasn't that good of a student, but it wasn't because I couldn't do it. I was capable. I just was lazy. So yeah. I did the bare minimum, which I completely regret. In fact, when I was in college, I got straight A's in college. Because it was easy and I was a good student. I had a bad attitude in high school. And so if I had just improved my attitude, I would have been on the honor roll every semester. Mm-hmm. It was stupid not to.
So Victor was looking at this stuff and I looked at him. I'm like, yeah, I was kind of smart.
You are smart.
And he's just like, yeah, I think so.
You are smart. You've always been smart. That's the thing. So Ryan obviously is capable, but you do have to I would say, you know what? Let's backtrack. We got the planner. Let me give you some tips. I was a 4.0 student. This is how you do it. And you might get him excited because you're really good at staying organized when it comes to stuff like that. That's why you're great at what you do in your field of choice. And it's why you're really good at homework and all that stuff, numbers and all that. And so it's like, give him the tips and say, this is what you do. If you do this, you will do better. And then give him a little slack. Just ask him every day. It's like, are you using your planner? Show me the planner. I'm going to log in. So, you might as well just do it the right way now so we don't have to go back and do this again because I don't want to fight with you. And then ultimately, I'd give him like a week or two, check it and stuff. But I'd give him like a week to say, are you using the tips? Ask him every day. Are you using what I suggested? Because he's going to give you lip. And you're like, well, if you want to learn the hard way, that's your choice. I'm just saying I would love to give you your phone back. So
right.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm sure he would love to get his phone back.
Yeah. So, I mean, give it more of a positive spin before you do mean,
yeah.
It's like, okay, I apologize. I gave you the benefit of the doubt that you knew how to organize yourself. And it's my fault for not offering you some suggestions before I was mean. So here. And then, because that's more your speed anyway. You don't like being mean.
No.
And then do that. And then just say, okay, I'm giving you all the tools to succeed. The way our minds work, this will work for you. And then hopefully he'll do it. Hopefully.
We'll see. We will turn that D- into a C.
Maybe. Okay, so TV really quick. I am not a big fan of the basic NBC, ABC, CBS shows, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. There are some I like you and I like Modern Family and The Goldbergs, and I like Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon. But overall, that's pretty much it. Everything else, I'm just like, But I love The Good Place, which is on NBC. Okay. And now Daryl and I, we watch The Voice, but scripted television, Daryl and I never watch the same thing. We literally have completely opposite tastes in television. Uh-huh. But we're both watching a show called Manifest. Oh. It's on NBC. It's right after The Voice on Mondays. And it is created by Robert Zemeckis, who was a director for a long time. He did other science fiction-y stuff in the 80s, I think.
The name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, I thought it was E.T., but that's Steven Spielberg, so I can't remember. I could Google it. It's probably shit we've heard a million times, but it's like, I think he did the Twilight Zone movie or something back in the old days, because I think that was the one where somebody got decapitated on set or something. Remember that?
Oh, God.
But anyway, people know who Robert Zemeckis is, and we do too. I just can't think of anything right now. Maybe he did The Goonies or something. I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, it's about this plane that was going from Bermuda to New York. And so it's a super quick...
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yes, it's a super quick flight. And they hit this crazy turbulence, and then everything smoothed out. And when they were going into land, when they landed, they're like, we don't know how you're here. You've been missing for 5.5 years. And they're like, what the fuck? And they haven't aged. They think it's only been 2 hours since they took off. And when they land, it's like the main character is his brother and sister. And the brother has a little boy who was a twin. And he had leukemia. And he was on his Make-A-Wish trip, literally with his family. And so he went with his dad. And then the mom and sister took an earlier flight. And so when they land, he's still 10. His twin sister is 15, almost 16. And he still has cancer, but because it's been almost 6 years, the technology's improved so much that he's literally going to live now. Instead of, he's not terminal anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. But they all have these weird powers. Like, they have intuition that they didn't have before. They're hearing things. They're getting, like, it's so crazy. So it's kind of like, what was that movie? It's almost like Castaway with Tom Hanks. It's like Castaway meets Lost.
Oh, okay. But on an airplane.
Yeah. And what's weird is they don't realize they've been missing for 5.5 years. So everybody's moved on. Like,
because when I saw the previews for that and they're like, you guys have been missing for 5.5 years. I'm like, if I was on an airplane for 5.5 years, that would be my worst nightmare.
You would have flung yourself from the plane.
I don't know. I'd be like, trying to cut my neck with a plastic knife.
Anything. Well, what's weird is like, they land and they're like, oh, my phone's not working. That's so weird, because they've turned off their account forever ago. And like, they go online and they're seeing all their tribute pages from their friends. And the one girl, the main girl, who's my favorite, she's a cop. She comes back to find that her fiance has married her best friend.
What an asshole.
What a bitch. How do you do that?
I don't understand people who do shit like that.
Yeah. How do you do that? And it's like, well, I don't care if it's been 50.5 years. You don't marry my best friend's husband or fiance.
Thank God I don't have any friends.
You have sisters, though. Can you imagine if I had died and came back and found out that one of you bitches married Daryl? Oh my God.
It would have never happened.
I would be out of my goddamn... I'd be like...
As soon as they announced they found this airplane, I'm like, get in the car.
It's like, I was just a placeholder. I promise. Oh my God. I'd be like, get out of my way. Well, here's what was sad is when they land, their mother had died. And they were on vacation with her. And when they land, and they've been gone for 5.5 years, and mom died. And of course, they've glossed over that completely. No one's mourning mom. She's just heartbroken that her fiance married her best friend, which I can't even with that. But then the other one, the brother, the wife, he's like completely, of course, shocking that the man wouldn't even think about it. He has no concept that perhaps maybe she was getting a little something in the last 5.5 years. I mean, my God, of course she has a boyfriend. Are you kidding me? It's like, he's like, who is this? And it's like, it's been 6 years, dude. A girl needs to get laid. Really? Come on.
He should be surprised that she wasn't married.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Most widows marry very quickly. So anyway, it's a good show. So Daryl and I are totally all in on it. We're so in on it. We love it. We love it. And it's so nice to finally have a show that we both like to watch together.
That's good.
Yeah, because it's so rare. Anyway, why am I reading This Is Us on my outline?
Okay.
Tell me, are you watching it, Paula?
I'll explain.
Fine.
So I was sitting around I wasn't sitting on my computer. I was sitting, reading my computer, just dicking around or whatever. And Ryan, he likes to surf for new shows and things like that. And so he started putting on the first show of This Is Us, the very first episode.
Okay.
And I'm like, why are you watching this? And so, I gave him a hard time. And he's like, I'm just curious. I've always wondered about this show. And so I'm like, whatever. And so I'm on my computer. And then like 10 minutes later, I'm like all in. I'm staring at the TV. Jamie, it is such a good show.
Wait. The first season or the current season?
The first season, because it's on demand.
Okay, that's different. I've heard that actually, I've seen some of the episodes from the first season. I didn't think it was too terrible. But it lost me fairly quickly because I don't need a reason to cry.
I've never cried on the show.
Yeah, well, you're dead inside. Most people cry when they watch that movie.
Yeah.
They call it like tear porn or something.
Oh, they do?
They do.
I've never cried, and usually my assumption is like, well, you did it to yourself. What are you thinking?
Well, you know what? That is true, and that's why I struggle with that show.
But it's still a good show. Mandy Moore is so good. Oh my gosh, she's like my favorite.
I love Mandy Moore. I've always loved Mandy Moore.
Yeah, so I'm kind of ashamed to admit it that we're like watching season 3 now.
Paula,
we've been binge watching it.
I've lost a little respect for you, but I love you, so I'm willing to overlook this.
Maybe it should have stayed my dirty little secret, but
even Chrissy Metz,
she bugs me.
Thank you.
A couple of the adult children,
yes,
with the exception of
the good-looking kid, right, or the brother,
Randall, the adopted brother.
Yes,
he's awesome.
Yes,
but the other two, they're just messed up.
They're so terrible.
I get sick of their sob stories.
Well, the thing with the Chrissy Metz character, it's not that she's fat, but it does. But it
definitely plays a part.
That's why she was cast. The whole point is her obesity is such a prevalent issue in her life, and so it affects literally everything in her life, and I find that infuriating. There are so many women who are not perfectly tiny in this world who are rocking that shit. And regardless of why someone is overweight or obese or whatever, it's not about celebrating it. It's about working with what you got, staying focused on being healthy, and not letting it impinge on your life. And once you start using that as your crutch, I'm over you. Over you. It's the same reason that I have a problem with, people who blame their abusive childhoods or whatever, why they're so terrible. It's like, then get fucking therapy and become a better person, please. That's why I don't like her.
When they were in their teens, their father died.
Right. Yes, I'm aware of the plot.
Yeah. So that just basically ruined
I can't
all
believe
of them.
You are a convert. I can't believe it.
Jamie, it's such a good show.
Well, I'm not going to invest any time, but you by all means enjoy, and you better tell me the first time you actually shed a tear. You've watched 3 seasons, and you haven't cried once?
No.
Crazy. Oh, see, that's why I like you. That's why I like you.
Oh, and Robert Zemeckis, Daryl's gonna kill you because he did Back to the Future and Back to the Future Part 2.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's not my problem. Maybe I've blocked him from my memory because I've watched that movie too many goddamn times. I've watched this film too many times. Yes. So anyway, well, let's move on because we're running out of time, but let's talk about some HUglee and awkward moments of the week. We have a beautiful Latina from, I believe, well, it says right here where she's from, South Dakota, and she has submitted an awkward moment that she had in Sunday school. Now, I want your opinion after we read it. Now, she felt it was an awkward moment, so I'm giving that to her, but I'm not sure. I think it's because she felt awkward, but she did nothing awkward, I don't think. So here's the story. I just moved to South Dakota from California. Where I moved is 99% Caucasian, and I'm Latina with dark skin. I was called to be the Sunday school teacher for our church. As I was teaching, a little girl raised her hand. I motioned to her, and she said, "You have mud on your face." Being vain, I quickly said, "Where?" And she started doing what we all do, where you start rubbing your face. And she's like, "All over." And she said, "I just stood there feeling dumb and mad." And I'm like, okay. I understand that it feels awkward, but
well, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah. Now the awkward part is when you were probably violently rubbing your face, which I get.
Where?
Yes, but
who would make her think that she had mud on her face all over her body? I guess kids don't know how to express.
You have a different skin color than I do.
Exactly. Just like it reminds me of Robin Hood with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
I wish I know. It was Morgan Freeman. He was talking to a little girl in the village, and she said, "Did God paint you?"
Oh, that's a sweet way of saying it.
Right. And so then he goes and tells some long story. But anyways,
Of
so
course.
I think it is a matter of kids not knowing how to express, someone else looks different than them. Or has a
Many
different skin
moons
color.
ago.
What?
That's my Morgan Freeman.
What?
You said he said a long story about like, many moons ago. That's the best I
You sound like an old, shoe clerk or something.
I thought that's my best Morgan Freeman. Okay, I'm definitely not going to make any money being an impressionist.
Yeah, really. No voiceover work for you.
Not for looking for a Morgan Freeman impressionist. Oh, I'll do it. No,
She does a great job.
many moons ago. Yeah, that ain't it. No, what's funny is it's nowadays everybody's so goddamn offended. But when Tyler was little, he might have been 4 or 5, and he was at a daycare, his after school care, and there was a young girl there who was black, and his grandfather, his step grandfather or whatever, is black. We have a lot of black cousins and aunts, and it's not like he's never seen a person of color. Plus, half our family's Mexican. He's seen different colors of shades of skin,
Right.
so. He and Tyler was a tiny little, he was super tan, but he had super blonde hair when he was little. Mm-hmm. Typical California kid. And I got called because the girl thought that Tyler was being racist.
What?
Yeah. And not like but like somebody had talked to him about some racist words or something. And I said, what are you talking about? So I go to the school from work because the last thing I want is someone to be taking this out on my child. I was so worried that he was going to be hurt or yelled at or, whatever. I was so afraid because I know we're not racist. And so I think I even said on the phone, I go, we are Mexican. For the love of Christ, he's not racist.
Yeah, really. We're not allowed to be racist.
Jesus. I mean, I know that that's possible, but I'm just saying that's not who I go. We look like a fucking Benetton ad, our family. So I go over and I go, what is going on? Well, they sent the girl home because she was so angry, but apparently all he had said was, hey, you're black. Why? Because maybe she was new, because she was new. And kids, that's how they kind of process stuff. I don't understand why it was like that, but I said, well, I don't understand what the connotation of racist is other than pointing out that she had a different skin color because he's a small child and that's how children learn. How many times? I mean, like you said, I remember one time someone came up to Daryl's stepdad and said, why are you chocolate? Right? He was not offended. He didn't go racist. He was just
because I'm
oh.
sweet and smooth.
Well, he probably did say something like that. But it's so silly. But this is how children learn if they've never been exposed specifically to a different skin color or something new that they've never seen in their world comes in and is a different color. That's what they do. I don't have a problem with it personally.
I think there's just certain things that there's certain milestones at different ages that you talk about, like, what's okay to say, what's not okay to say. But when there's a certain age, if it's just too young, then you don't talk about it.
No, and you just say, no, some people have different skin colors. It's just the way it is. Everybody's different. Everybody.
And it's okay to be black. Maybe you say your shoes are pink or, whatever.
I don't know how I would have responded to that. I've been like, I'm not dirty. I would have made it worse somehow. I don't know how she held. I wish she had told me how she handled it. I'd be curious, but I would be mad and embarrassed as well.
I don't know that I might have. Oh God. It just depends on how old she was.
Well, Sunday school's pretty tiny, so I would say she's probably under kindergarten age. So
then I probably wouldn't have done anything.
No, I would have said, "Oh, honey, no, that's just the color of my skin. Whatever."
Skin color, and then maybe I would have found a scripture that says God loves everyone.
There you go. God, listen to you, Miss Brightness.
I know.
You're on a roll today. Okay, I have 2 more that I thought were really funny. The first one, these are all Catholic for some reason. This is where all the embarrassing shit happens, apparently. Last Mass, I went to church with with my family was to this really uptight church by my mom's house. During the homily, I don't know what that is. My sister, I assume it's quiet. My sister, who was about 3, started having really bad gas. I swear she was making the loudest fart sounds I've ever heard, and they were echoing throughout the church. My mom was trying to get her out of there, but since we were in the middle of the row, she was having a hard time getting around people. It was so bad that the priest literally stopped talking and stared at us until we made it outside.
Oh my God, a 3-year-old?
Yeah, well, diarrhea was coming.
Oh.
That's probably, she's like, oh my God, who gave her ice cream?
Can you imagine
out.
the smell? Like
No.
if you're sitting in that aisle? I'd get up and leave, and it wasn't even my baby or anything.
Lesson learned, when you have little ones, you sit on the aisle when you're in church.
Everybody knows that.
You
yeah.
never sit in the middle or in the back.
Especially a mass. Do you know how long those things are?
They can be they can be very long.
God.
Okay, here's one. Final. At Christmas service, the pastor was talking about Jesus, and my 6-year-old screams, "Wait, Mom, Jesus died?" The whole church laughed, and the pastor said, "Son, let your mom know it's okay to come to church every week, not just on Christmas."
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
I would have been like, "Ha ha, you're so funny.
We were just here, and here's $20.
Here's my penance. Here's my tithe." Anyway, so God bless the children. Every little one.
There's something funny about taking kids to church.
Oh my God.
But it is.
They act like little hellions there because it's it's unusual for them to sit still for even 40 minutes.
I know.
So, God forbid there's a prayer, or if they sing, they pretend they can sing, or, the prayer goes, and they're like, because they want to do the prayer or whatever.
Or they're looking at everyone smiling and looking around.
Like, and then the prayer, amen. Amen.
Yay!
Yeah, it's crazy. It's true. It's very difficult. And then you're sitting there going, and then of course our mom, she's like, "This is worth it. This is worth it. This is where they should be.
See, they want to be here.
They want to be here. They love God." It's like, okay.
I don't doubt that, Mom, but
But I'm exhausted and I'm ready to go home. I'm filthy. I slept 2 hours last night and they're learning nothing.
because I blew a married man after he went to sleep. And then you made me come here today. So
Out of guilt. You need Jesus.
More than you know. Well, I think that's a wrap.
Oh, we forgot to talk about how we lost our virginity. We'll have to do that next week.
Oh, yeah.
That, and I have another thing. I'm weird, but I'm wondering if you're the same as me. And so I'm going to ask you a question about guys that you see on TV or just in general, in the general population of the world, if you have the same thought process I do. I doubt it, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you on Sunday. Bye. Bye.
That's a wrap. Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.